Hey guys, this is David Wynn with the Mortgage Edge podcast brought to you by Click and Close Mortgage. Today, we're coming to you from the great state of Arkansas with a very special guest, Thomas Hasselstrom. Is that how you say it, Thomas?
Yeah, the last name is Hasselstrom, but call me Tom. Thomas is entirely too pretentious.
Well, we're friends here, so I'll definitely call you Tom. So, Tom, how long have you been a realtor, brother?
Well, that's a good question. I was licensed about 9 years ago, but I've been doing it full time for about 8.5 years. Yep.
Okay. Well, what did you do before that?
Well, a lot of things. I grew up in Idaho, and I joined the military in 1975.
Oh, wow.
It was actually Halloween 1975. I put on a costume as a soldier and wore that costume for about 20 years. I retired from the military in 1995. Lived in Portland, Oregon for about 18 years. And during those 18 years, I got divorced. I got remarried. My new wife likes her adventures. So we took an adventure to the Virgin Islands. It was a small island. We were living on a small island just off of St. Thomas, and had a charter boat business.
Oh, wow. What a great life.
Well, it sounds like it, but David, you don't know things until you know. And the Virgin Islands is a great place to be on vacation, stay 2 weeks, stay drunk the entire time. But working there is a little bit more of a challenge. Living there is more of a challenge. And, there's a saying that the best way to make $1 million in the Virgin Islands is to show up with two.
Yeah, cost of living. I got some friends that retired there and have a sailboat, and all they do is go from island to island. But man, he just posts how expensive it is. Super.
Yep. And we were trying to run a business, and we were living in an apartment. The price of electricity is there. St. Thomas is a rock. It has no agriculture on it whatsoever. And so the cost of food is very expensive, and it's very low quality. Electricity there is generated by diesel generators, and you can imagine what the price of a gallon of diesel fuel in the middle of the Caribbean is. So just exacerbate that to the point where, a 2-bedroom apartment without running any air conditioning, only running, cooking and running a refrigerator and computers. We didn't even have a TV. And our least expensive electric bill for 30 days was $160.
Oh, wow.
And that was in 2012.
And how long ago did you all live in the Virgin Islands?
Well, we left there in 2013 and came to Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. And people will ask me, hey, why did you leave paradise? Well, I didn't leave paradise. I came to paradise. Like I said, life living on an island is very romantic, the picture in your mind. But in reality, it's a tough life.
Yeah. So let's talk about Hot Springs Village, which a lot of people don't know about. It's is it a retirement community? Is it 55 and over? Is that correct or no?
It's not 55 and over, but most of the people here are retired.
Okay.
It's never been 55 and over. It was established in 1970. It's the geographically largest gated community in North America. Geographically, we are the size of San Francisco. We have about 17,500 people living here. It has 9 golf courses, 11 recreational lakes, 31 miles of nature trails, pickleball facilities, tennis facilities, bocce ball, lawn bowling, fishing, hunting. I mean, yes, you can hunt in the village. There's bow hunting allowed in the village. And we have tons and tons of wildlife here. It's like living in a park, except that we have sewers and city water.
That's awesome. So what, 17,500 people, what percentage of them are retired?
Well, the average age is 69, but
Okay.
we do have about 1,000 kids that we bus out to our 2 school districts every day. And so, do the math. How many octogenarians does it take to make up for one 13-year-old to come out with an average of 69?
Well, it sounds like a great place to live. So you've been there since 2013.
Yep.
I'm sure you did a lot of research on where to move to. Was the whole United States open, or
No.
what made you choose that place of all the places?
Well, yes and no. I mean, technically we had a lot of options. However, we were coming back, we were getting our feet dry, we were leaving the Virgin Islands, we knew that. And my wife's daughter was married to a police officer at Little Rock at the time. And she was getting ready to have her first baby, her only baby, actually. And so we knew that we were going to spend some time here in Arkansas during the birth of our granddaughter and for a while. And Susan got online and started looking. She's my research person. She's my expert. She handles all the family finances, finds all kinds of deals on just about everything. I mean, she is the internet shopping queen. And anyway, she got online and started looking for places to live in Arkansas because we knew we were going to be here for a while. And she stumbled across Hot Springs Village. Now, when we lived in Oregon, there's a place called Sun River. It's just south of Bend. It's on the McKenzie River. It's a resort community. And we loved going there and spending a week or so. Did that multiple times. She started exploring what was going on here at Hot Springs Village. And she says, hey, Tom, I found this place and it's like Sun River, but more amenities and 1/3 the price. Well, to be honest with you, David, at that point in my life, 1/3 the price sold me on the place. So we landed in Little Rock, stayed with her daughter for a couple of weeks, and came down here, explored the area, fell in love with it. We rented here for about 6 years before we bought because our experience in the Virgin Islands taught us that we should probably date a place before we married it. But eventually we did marry it and bought a house, and we've been here ever since.
That's awesome. So you came back to the States and you started selling houses immediately in 2013?
No, heavens no. No, when we were in the Virgin Islands, we ran a charter boat business, took people out on day sales. We would pick them up typically from a cruise ship, and we would take them out. There was a little island, and it's not the famous Buck Island that's north of St. Croix, but it's a small island that was referred to as Buck Island. It was about maybe a mile south of St. Thomas. But it had 2 coves. One of them was Turtle Cove, and the other one was Shipwreck. Now, Turtle Cove was a habitat for great green sea turtles. I'm talking about turtles that are, 3 feet wide and 4 feet long?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
huge animals. And this is an environment for them that was a breeding ground, etc. So there were tons of them around there. That was a very popular tourist destination. And then adjacent on the other side of the island was Shipwreck, where the Navy had sunk a barge to create a man-made reef down there. And there were tons of nice, really pretty fish. So we took people snorkeling. Now, the interesting thing about Shipwreck was there was also a barracuda over there that was named Bernie. And he was well fed because there were tons of fish for him to eat. But, he always liked coming up and looking at people when they were snorkeling and diving in that area as well. But he was very friendly fish. He just looked scary as all get up. Yep.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, that sounds like a dream, to be a captain of the ship, taking people on cruises and everything like that. Well, let's fast forward. You're back. You're back in the States. You sell your business. Did you sell your business or what? Or you just sold the boat and said, "Here you go"?
I sold the boat and just kind of closed the business down. Came here and I was working part-time for 2 jobs because we weren't certain how long we were going to stay here. Like I said, we rented. And so I was working as part-time driving for an assisted living facility here in the village, Good Samaritan Society, and also working as crew on the Belle of Hot Springs, which is it's made up to look like a paddle boat, but it doesn't have it's like a stern wheeler, but it doesn't have the big stern wheel on it. But it was in Hot Springs, which is a big tourist mecca. It's a town of 35,000 that gets 5 million visitors a year. And 3 times a day, we would take it out. Once at lunchtime, once at supper time, and then once in the evening. And I worked as crew on that. I bartended, I washed dishes, I bussed tables, I took out the trash. Yeah. So those were the first 2 jobs I had when I got here.
It's
Then
awesome.
later on, after the season was over, I went to working as a driver more often. Then became transportation coordinator, took over the entire department there uh, at Good Sam, which was right along line with what I did in the military, and then became fleet manager for the village for a while. Now, this was the time that Susan got licensed. She wanted to get into real estate, my wife, and I was getting in. She wanted me to get licensed as well, so I went ahead and got licensed at that time.
What
And I
year is
worked
that?
in what's that?
What year was that?
Oh, would have been 2015.
Okay.
So I guess 10 years almost I've been licensed now. And but I went to work for the village, the POA, as their fleet manager, and she started the real estate business. And after about a year and a half, she was getting a little bit overwhelmed and was wanting to get out, but she was making more money than I was, so I went ahead and took over. And I've been selling real estate full time since then.
That's awesome. Because I was going to say, I've seen your numbers, Tom. You're doing really great things out there.
Thanks.
What's unique about the village, sorry about that, is how do you get your name out there? How do you find you? You're such a bubble or enclosed area. Like, you don't sell outside of the village, right? You only
Oh,
sell
I do. I mean, I do sell real estate. I've got some listings in Hot Springs. I've sold real estate as far as north as Little Rock. And when Susan started, our broker called her their star agent because she was from this point to that 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 point. She was going all over, and she had sold property as far as Greer's Ferry and Beebe up in northern Arkansas. So yeah, we do most of it, but probably 90 to 95% is done in Hot Springs Village itself.
Is Susan doing anything with real estate now?
She is. She had retired for a year, and then just this year she decided to get back into it. So she's now relicensed, and we are part of a team. Yeah.
Well, y'all make a great team. So, tell me, how they find? I mean, like, if you're looking to move to the villages or the village, do they research online? I figure a housing complex like that has all sorts of media and coverage and all that stuff. And
Well, it doesn't
and
really.
they
I
come.
mean, really, Hot Springs Village is kind of the best kept secret, and I don't know why. Because it's a wonderful place to live. This literally is. Now, David, I've lived in Europe. I've lived in Asia when I was in the service. I've lived in the Caribbean. I've lived in the Pacific Northwest. I've lived all around the United States. And this is hands down, and not just because I'm selling it. This is hands down the best place in the world to live. It's clean air. It's clean water. It's good people. It's quiet. It's peaceful. You're living in nature. It's like living, I've heard it described as like living in a park, just with sewer and city water, and garbage pickup. The POA is not an HOA. First of all, our assessments are very low. I think it's about $113 this year a month. But it's more like a municipal government. That's really the role that it plays. Takes care of our roads, picks up our garbage, takes care of our sewer. We have the largest pressurized sewer system in the entire world. Takes care of our water, provides us with police. We have aside from the guards on the gates, which are rent-a-cops, we have real live law enforcement officials who are paid, their salaries are paid for by the POA, but they are deputized in both Saline and Garland counties, which is important because Hot Springs Village straddles the county line between those two. We also have a professional fire department with 4 fire stations and 3 ambulance companies.
Inside the village.
In Hot Springs Village. This is like a very large little city. How's that?
Yeah. What did I say? 17,500 people. That's a really large city. I mean, that's bigger than some cities for me in Idaho.
Well, but the village is 34,600 platted lots. And after 54 years of existence, we have less than 10,000 homes. So we're really somewhere between 25 and 30% filled in. There's tons and tons of lots, and you can get them here very cheap. Construction here is actually really high quality, and homes here, I mean, a brand new house, we're looking at somewhere between typically $200 to $210 a square foot.
Oh, wow.
And we have houses here. We have townhouses that you can get for less than $200,000. In some cases, less than $150,000. In some cases, less than $100,000. they're not, they were probably the ones that you'd want to fix up, but all of those things are capable of, you're capable of getting here. It's not an over 55 community. A lot of people retire here simply because of the climate. We play golf 12 months out of the year. We have 4 seasons, however, but we do play golf 12 months out of the year. Cost of living here is very low. It's very safe. We have virtually no crime. It's just an absolutely phenomenal place to live.
That's phenomenal, Tom. Well, I could sit here and talk to you all day about the village and what you're doing for real estate and everything else. What should we have talked about that we did talk about?
Well, I mean, you when we were getting ready for the podcast, you told me that people want to know more about me. Yeah, I
Yes.
really am an open book. I'll talk to anybody about anything at any time. Drives my wife crazy. Go to the grocery store and we may not get out for half an hour and we've only bought 3 things. But the other things to talk about, how to get a hold of me, because really this is a little slice of paradise. And the way that you can get in touch with me is you can reach me on Facebook. That's probably the best way. I'm Tom Hasselstrom, where you can reach me by email, tomhasselstrom@gmail.com, or you can reach me by phone. And I have 2 numbers. One is my marketing number. It's 501-594-4990. And the other one is my main line or my direct line, which is 501-538-7313. Call me or text me.
And if you're watching this live, folks, you saw that go across the lower thirds, all that information. We want to make sure people can find you, Tom. What else, brother?
Well, I'm really kind of at a loss now. I know I was supposed to have something together here, but
No,
hey, I am the grandfather of 6, and I am 66 years old, so I have senior moments.
Well, I think at 66 you're young. You lived definitely a full life, brother. Serving our military, living overseas. So I have to ask, at what point do you retire? 66 years young.
I actually had this conversation with my daughter just maybe a month ago. And I have 2 daughters. Both of them are in their 40s. I started very young, too. I mean, I joined the military at 17. I retired at 37. So I've had a long time, with many different things. I've been, aside from the military, I've been a sports official. I've been an insurance agent. I have worked for environmental companies. Was an elder in my church. Lots and lots of different things. Most of them had something to do with sales. But anyway, getting back to the question, when am I going to retire? Probably never. What I do plan on doing someday is quitting working full time. But even then, I'll probably continue with my writing hobby. Well, I am a published author as well. Did publish a book, and I'll hype that here real quick. If you go online to teacherthebook.com, you'll see my book there. It's not for everybody. It's a little religious. Some people say it's too religious, and some people say it's not, but it's about the second coming of Christ with a twist. But I'm going to leave it there. That's enough of a tease.
No, let's plug it. What's the name of the book?
The book is Teacher. So like I said, if you go online and you look at teacherthebook.com, that's the website. There's 1 chapter in there. I believe it's called The Gospel According to Arthur. Basically, what the premise is that the Christians believe that the Jewish people missed the Messiah the first time around because they were expecting a ruler that was going to raise an army and overthrow the Romans and restore the throne of David to an exalted place among the nations. And they got a baby born in a barn to an unwed teenage mother. Okay? Today's Christians are expecting the second coming with fire and brimstone and the Antichrist and Armageddon and all these other things. What would happen if they got a baby? And that's the premise that the book is written on.
I love it.
It's complete fiction. The theology in there, everything that is, excuse my expression, but it's total crap. But it's entertaining, and I think that people, if they take it With that in mind, we'll enjoy reading it very much.
Well, folks, not only is he a great realtor, but an established author. So awesome, man. You wear a lot of different hats out there. I don't see you ever retiring.
No, I probably won't. Getting back to that question, I asked my daughter, do you think I'll ever quit working? And she said no. And she's only known me for 45 years now. That's how old she is. So, yeah, I think she's got a pretty good line on me.
Well, that's awesome. Well, if I'm looking for housing in the Hot Springs area, there's only one man I'm calling. That's Tom. So,
Thanks,
so with that being said, reach out to this man. You can spend a lot of time with him. Maybe he'll even give you a book while you're out there looking at properties. And sounds like the Hot Spring Village is the place to live, whether you're retired or not retired. It sounds like a little bit of paradise. Well, I'm David Wynn. I'm with the Mortgage Edge podcast. Thanks for being with us today. Have a great day, guys. Bye.